Hi there, and welcome back to Paws and Pawsitivity. I'm Jamie Watkinson-Harvey, your certified dog trainer, behaviour consultant, and host of this podcast. Whether you're pottering around the house, out on a walk, or snuggled up with your pup on the sofa, I'm so glad that you're here. Today, we're going to be looking at something that's been buzzing through the dog world lately, especially online. This idea that fetch is harmful. Now, I'll be honest with you. When I first started seeing people say that playing fetch is bad or damaging for dogs, I had to double check that I wasn't reading satire. Because fetch? Really? Now, don't get me wrong. I'm always up for a conversation about how we engage with our dogs, especially when it comes to mental health, over-arousal, and healthy play. But what I'm seeing right now feels less like thoughtful discussion and more like a sweeping guilt-inducing movement that's leaving dog owners confused, worried, and in some cases, ashamed for just tossing a ball around in the park with their dog. So the big question is fetch inherently harmful? In a word, no. Fetch isn't harmful. What can be harmful is anything taken to an extreme or done without care. And that goes for fetch, tug, sniffing, agility, you name it. Even cuddling can be too much if your dog doesn't enjoy it. Let's take Penny, my cheeky little Frenchie, as a perfect example. She loves a game of fetch. She will light up when the ball comes out, eyes sparkling. But, and this is important, it's not the only game we play. Penny also enjoys scent games, puzzle toys, play wrestling with my other two dogs, and a good snuggle when she's in the mood. So fetch is just one part of a well-rounded enrichment routine. So no, fetch isn't harmful. But yes, we can see dogs becoming overly fixated on it. And that's where our job as their guardians comes in. We have to watch for signs of obsession or stress, and if they show up, shift things around. That's not about banning fetch. It's about understanding your dog as an individual. So, where did this anti-fetch thing come from? Well, that's hard to say exactly. But like many trends, it probably started with a few people noticing something real. A dog that became overly aroused during fetch or couldn't settle afterwards. Fair enough. That can happen. But instead of saying, let's help this dog develop a better relationship with fetch, the conversation instead turned into, fetch is inherently harmful, full stop. And that's just not helpful. It's a classic case of black and white thinking, which honestly feels a bit like wokery meets dogs, where good intentions get stretched so far they stop making sense. Instead of helping, it creates fear, judgment, and yet another list of things you shouldn't do as a dog owner. Haven't we got enough of those already? Dog guardianship is hard enough without being told that throwing a ball for your dog makes you a bad person. Let's bring it back to what actually matters. The relationship your dog has with fetch and with you. If fetch is part of a balanced, enriching lifestyle and your dog is physically and mentally healthy, then it's likely doing far more good than harm. You're moving together, communicating, bonding, and offering your dog a satisfying outlet for their energy. Some dogs are natural chasers. It's part of who they are. Denying that entirely because someone on Instagram said fetch is toxic is missing the point. Here is the golden rule I stick to. Watch your dog, not somebody else's, not a generalized trend online, your dog. Do they eagerly play, then disengage when the game ends? Do they rest easily afterwards? Do they invite other forms of play and exploration, great, fetch is working for them. Or do they become frantic, pant uncontrollably, ignore the cues to stop, or show frustration when the ball's put away? That's a sign something needs adjusting. But even then, it doesn't mean fetch is the villain. It just means the approach needs tweaking. So if you're a fellow fetch fan like me and Penny, here are a few simple things to keep in mind. Firstly, mix it up. Incorporate other games and enrichment activities so fetch doesn't become the only form of stimulation. Next, use it as an opportunity for training. Practice cues like wait, drop, or find it in between throws. It builds connection and keeps arousal levels manageable. And finally, keep an eye on intensity. Watch for signs that your dog is becoming overly fixated. And if that happens, bring the game to a gentle close and switch to something calmer. Fetch isn't the enemy, but it's not a free-for-all either. Like anything with dogs, it's about balance, observation, and care. Now, I want to say something directly to anyone listening who's been feeling guilty or second-guessing themselves after reading those fetch is harmful posts. You are not doing anything wrong by playing fetch with your dog. You are not failing. You are not cruel. You are not outdated. You are engaging with your dog. You're having fun. And if it brings you both joy, then with a few thoughtful boundaries in place, it's a beautiful part of your life together. It's time we stop letting internet trends tell us how to raise our dogs, especially when those trends ignore nuance and push fear instead of understanding. Fetch doesn't need counseling. It needs context. And that's it for today's episode of Paws and Pawsitivity. I hope this has helped bring a bit of clarity to a topic that's got a lot of people worried. Remember, enrichment isn't about eliminating certain games. It's about offering variety, understanding your dog, and making sure the joy goes both ways. If you found this episode helpful, or if you've ever been side-eyed for throwing a ball in the park, please consider giving the podcast a like, a share, or a subscribe. It's one of the best ways you can help support the work that I do, and it helps spread the message of kindness and clarity in dog training. Until next time, take care